Okay, so you guys can go ahead and sit down. You guys are the best. So Cody and I talked about this segment, what we're going to put here, and the most valuable thing that we came up with was co-wholesaling. Co-wholesaling makes up a very large part of my business, Cody's and I's in our business. And co-wholesaling also allows you to very quickly start doing deals. How many people want to do their first deal as soon as possible? Right? You guys are awesome. Good call. So we want to, what co-wholesaling allows us to do is with very little resources, do a deal. Now, do we always make the most money on a co-wholesale? Not necessarily, right? Can we make really good money on co-wholesales? Yes. All right, how many people are co-wholesaling right now? How many people have no idea what a co-wholesale is? Awesome. All right, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, this is the commitment I need from you guys, especially people who are not already co-wholesaling. In this segment, this next, let's say maybe an hour or so, right, we're going to cover co-wholesaling. You need to make sure that you get everything you need from this segment to go home and actually get a deal done co-wholesaling. Does that make sense? Does everybody agree and commit to that? Yes. Good. So this is your hour. If you have a question, you missed something, we're going to have a time for questions at the end. We're going to go through all of the different pieces. So if anything comes up, you're like, ooh, I don't quite understand that, write it down. We're going to do it at the end. If it has to be asked right then, we'll knock it out. But it's your hour. Make sure you get everything you need. When you get back home, I won't be there. I know, very sad. So get what you need. Every single one of you can make tons of money co-wholesaling. I've done it. And I started from when I didn't know how to do anything, right? I didn't know how to do anything, and co-wholesaling was the first way that I got into real estate. Okay, I just love co-wholesaling, so I might talk about it for a while. The next awesome thing about co-wholesaling is it isn't something that you discontinue. Your business, you don't start with co-wholesaling and then down the road discontinue co-wholesaling. You don't get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm too good for co-wholesaling. Co-wholesaling is the creme de la creme, right? You get the easiest, the fastest deals done with co-wholesaling, and you can absolutely scale it. Does that sound good to anybody? Yeah. Yes, sounds good, right? Matt was up here earlier this morning. He showed a graph that said you, millions of views, right? How many people, when he showed you the next graph that showed you how to break it down, how many of you were like, ooh, that's going to cost a lot of money to hire all those people? Right? And you're like, I think I might have to stick with you for a little bit longer, right? Okay, co-wholesale. What's amazing about co-wholesaling is the resources and time that it takes up. Don't get me wrong. You have to work hard in order to start co-wholesaling and do it successfully and do a lot of them. It's hard work. But what's amazing about co-wholesaling is once you get it started, you can do a lot with just you. And it's what allows a lot of people to take their business from just them to making so much money with just them that, oh yeah, well, I got tons of money. Of course I can hire somebody. Sounds like a pretty good gig, right? So that's what we're going to dive into. We're going to dive into co-wholesaling. Let me see if I can find. Well, we're going to dive into it as soon as I find the cue thing. All right, there we go. Okay, so co-wholesaling. Definition. Co-wholesaling is the process of bringing only one piece of a complete real estate transaction to the table, either the buyer or the seller, where a separate party brings the missing piece. Does everybody understand that? Cool. All the people that have already done it, you're feeling great. Thanks for hanging out. All right, quick question. What's the difference between co-wholesaling and wholesaling? Let's see, what do we got? Go for it. Yep, and when you're doing a full wholesale, what are you doing? You're finding both. Awesome. All right, this is a quick challenge. How many people, when I asked that question, thought you knew the answer but didn't raise your hand? Some people? Okay, I promise I will not call on you. I'm going to ask it again and raise your hand. I'm not going to call on you. If you thought about it, thought you were going to raise your hand when I asked that question, and you hesitated, I'm going to ask the question and raise your hand. I will not call on you. What is the difference between co-wholesaling and wholesaling? Awesome. All right. You guys are action takers, okay? When I started I'm going to tell a quick story, and then we're going to dive back into this. When I started, this is the difference between people who make it and don't make it, When I started, I had always wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? Since I was like 4. My mom would listen to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I'd be like, that sounds like a good gig, right? Or Think and Grow Rich, stuff like that. I was like, well, yeah, that's what I want to be like, which had some interesting spins on my life. But I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be an inventor and a business owner, and I want to own lots of businesses. And so I had this dream, and I had this dream for a very long time. What I call that is sitting on the dock. You're sitting on the dock, and you got your toes in the water, and you're looking up at the sky, and you're dreaming. And does it feel pretty good? It feels pretty good. But when you sit there long enough, and you're like, you sit there long enough, you start to get, and some people might be feeling this, you start to get where you're like, I just feel stagnant. I have all these dreams. The dreams are going to be great when I get there, but I don't have them right now, and I've had this dream for a long time, and it's not happening. What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? And you start to analyze. And what you need to do is jump in the water. What we're here to do is to swim. But we like to play with our toes in the water, think about it, stare at the water, see our reflection, just wonder, I know I can get in that water. I know it's right there. It's going to be great when I get in that water. It's going to be so nice. It's going to be great when I get in that water. And that's what I did, and it's what a lot of us do. And sometimes we do it without knowing, and sometimes we do it and we make excuses as we're sitting on the dock. We're sitting on the dock and we start to say, well, I don't want to get in the water just yet because it's kind of cold right now, but it'll probably be warmer later, so I'll just wait. I don't want to call the buyer right now because if I call the buyer and I make a bad first impression, David, we already talked about this. Yep, my man. And I had a bad first impression, then, that might blow the whole thing. So I better take a step back and learn more before I have that first impression. How many know that that's a complete lie? Right? If you never call that buyer, you're not going to have any impression. And if you call 100 buyers and you only get 2 good impressions, you have 2 buyers that you wouldn't have had. And also, impressions don't last. You can come back to that buyer a couple weeks, no more, and you're good. So anyhow, in high school, I lived in high school all the way through. Same thing, dreams, never jumping in the water. And when I met Cody, there was a moment, I was working with Cody, and I said, Cody's the real deal. Cody's the guy that I know, he's already doing it. I've seen the checks, I've seen the cars, I've seen everything that he's done. He's really doing it. I have an amazing opportunity here that is not going to last. I have a fantastic opportunity here, and I have the opportunity to take it. I remember watching the fast track at my mom's computer in our kitchen, watching the fast track, which I had just bought with all the money I had, right, and some of my mom's. Sitting there, I'm watching the fast track, and I think it's module 3. When they go through the seller session, it shows him talking on the phone to a seller. At 17, if anybody called my phone, it was my mom, my sisters, or my best friend. That was it. That was my phone. If that rang, it was cool. I knew who it was. Somebody else calls. I don't know how to have a call. And it's something that a lot of people struggle with. At that moment, I locked up because it was something that I hit with all those other businesses, all those other ideas up to that point. It was reaching out and calling somebody. It was reaching out and getting on the phone with them. That's what always made me stop. And when I got here, it was one particular moment I said, it's not going to stop me. I said, not this time. I was like, I'm gonna call somebody right now. And that's what I did. It went horrific. But I said, no, it doesn't matter that went bad, because that decision to go for it, I was scared, I was ridiculously nervous. That's what allowed me to get off that dock and allowed me to start on the path to where I wanted to be and where I am today. So when somebody asks you, like when you have a question and you're like, oh, should I raise my hand? Or I have a question and I should ask it, but I don't really want to ask you because what if people think I'm stupid? Or I don't really want to ask it because what if I just mumble my words? Okay, worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to jump off that dock, raise your hand, not really know what you're going to say. You're going to stand up, mumble your words, and nobody's going to care. And then you're going to sit back down. And guess what? You took one step more than probably 85% of the people in here who still have that question that didn't ask it. So jump off the dock. All right. What's the difference between co-wholesaling and wholesaling? It's bringing not both the buyer and the seller, which takes more focus away. It's just bringing one piece. Co-wholesaling benefits can be done fast. can be done very fast. You are on the cutting edge of when the check is made. Cost effective. If you are bringing a buyer to the table and you get the buyer from another wholesaler, who spent the money on the marketing to find the seller? The other wholesaler. Who spent the time to negotiate with the seller? Who had to talk with the seller? Who had to go over to their house? Who had to have their handshake as they were signing the contract? The other wholesaler. Cost effective, saves on marketing. Targeted focus, you can focus on just the sales side, just bringing in sellers, if that's what you're good at, or you can focus just on the buyer side. Max return for minimal effort. I'm going to show you at the end of this how you can do a deal in one phone call. It's awesome. It's absolutely amazing, and I've done a lot of them. And I'm not saying that to brag, I'm saying that because when you start doing this at a high-performing level, you can do it. It's easy. And so this is where you want to go. When I said it's scalable because it's so easy. If you can do a deal in a phone call or in a few phone calls or even over a day, right, it allows you to start generating the income you need to build out your team and grow it and dive into other things like development, rehabs, whatnot. All right. So real quick, what's in this training? Setting up for co-wholesaling. You have to lay down the groundwork. We can't do anything unless we lay down the groundwork. So we're going to show setting up for co-wholesaling, 2 approaches to co-wholesaling, which you can probably guess out, both buyer and seller. Best co-wholesaling markets. So how to look at a market and decide what you're really going to face in that market as you go out and trying to co-wholesale. Because they're different, and you're going to approach your sellers and your buyers differently and the other co-wholesalers differently based on your market. Types of sellers. This is something if you decide you're going to work with sellers, I see this mistake all the time, and it's a mistake I made. And now when I get on the phone, I can tell instantly if somebody's brand new to the business or not new to the business based on how they treat me. So we're going to talk about types of sellers. If you know your sellers, it's going to take you from, if you know what type of seller and how to identify what seller you're talking to, if it's a wholesaler, an agent, an owner, if you know how to talk to them, they're going to think that you've been doing this a very long time. Tiers of buyers, we're going to talk about 2 different types of buyers that you can face, 2 avatars of buyers that you'll see in the market. Very important to know the differences and how to sell to both of them. 0 to 1, finding buyers and sellers. How to kick this off. When we go through this section, you must be focused. Everybody down? Everybody good with that? All right, when we go through this section, you must be focused, especially if you are new. If you are new, this is your section. Because when we go back tomorrow, this is what you're going to do. And I want you guys to totally kill it. All right, case studies. I'll run through some case studies so you can see it in action. The one call payday, which is what you're going to start doing more and more of as you get better at this. Action steps, how we're going to take action when we get back tomorrow, and then selling psychology. And then that selling psychology, as we talked about, how you sell to each of those tiers. And then you see that huge, awesome, amazing-looking stack of books. Because I didn't put paperwork on here, that's what that stands for, that stack of books. So we're going to go through paperwork. Because I was looking back at it, and I was like, we got to do paperwork. Is paperwork useful? Is paperwork important to getting the deal done? Right? So we're going to dive through paperwork real quick. To co-wholesale, what do you need? Mandatorily. Throw some stuff out. Sellers, leads. Wait, whoa, I heard it. Give me one more time. Contractors. Did you say wholesalers? Another wholesaler. You got to have wholesalers if you're going to co-wholesale, right? So that is the first step. If you don't have a cell phone, you got to get one of those too. Those are also very useful. But first step that's past our logical understanding is to get wholesalers. So we need to find wholesalers. Boom. Setting the playing field. Setting the playing field is a big part of finding wholesalers. The easiest this is the first thing I do when I enter a new market, and the fastest thing to kick you off and get you playing in the market with the big players. Most of the deals happen. There's different echelons of wholesalers and investors in every market. And at the top of the pyramid, lots and lots and lots of deals are done. I'd say 90% of the deals are done at that top of the pyramid, right? And you can jump quickly into that, or at least start to identify who the players are in that top echelon by doing this ridiculously simple thing. Go to Google and search for your area, your city, wholesale properties. Is everybody in here, can you guys all do that? Is that going to be pretty easy? Okay, next is you're going to get on all of their lists. Why is it important to get on all their lists? So they send you deals, so they know your name? Yes, exactly. How else do you know what they can sell? And what's selling? If you look at a wholesaler list here in Phoenix and you look at the ARV of what they're selling at, it's much higher than what it is in Ohio. So if I go to Ohio and I use the same formula to find a deal in Ohio that I use here, I'll have a bajillion deals and 0 buyers. Because in Ohio, you need a much steeper margin on your property than what I can sell here in Phoenix. So you need to understand that going into the market. So you're going to search for wholesalers, and you're going to hop on all of their lists. Eventually, you're going to become best friends with these people because they're going to either bring you buyers or they're going to bring you sellers. Most of the ones you find on Google, though, are going to be your bigger wholesalers. The little wholesalers are the ones that are really going to bring you the seller lead or bring you the deals. Find wholesalers on Craigslist. How do we identify wholesalers on Craigslist? We can find we buy houses, right? People that are asking for you to join their buyer list. How about if they say wholesale deal? It's pretty easy to search for wholesale deal. Basic stuff, really ridiculously basic, will make you tons of money. That's crazy. Search for wholesalers. How about like hot property, discounted property, will go fast. ARV, brilliant, right? ARV, because that's what they put in there. Wholesale price, all that stuff. Go through, email every single one of them, or call them and say, hey, I just saw this property that you had up. I'd love to be added to your buyers list. This one isn't necessarily for me, but I'd like to see what you have. Eventually, you're going to build that too. Before you put anything out, send it to me. Call other wholesalers bandit signs. Anybody ever done this? Right? You got to know them. Don't call the we buy, well, okay, so try and find the we buy ugly houses people other ways, unless you just want to make them mad, because the way they work is everybody puts a certain amount of money in, and then they get a certain amount of calls off the general advertising. So if you call once, it'll go to one guy. If you call again, it'll go to another guy. So you want to be mean and have them all pissed off at you, just call through like 10 times. You get all of them. They're all normally great buyers, but they will all be mad at you. All right, so call other wholesaler bandit signs. Join real estate investor Facebook groups. Everybody part of a real estate investor Facebook group? Do it, right? I've done tons of deals off Facebook groups. Get on there, and it's super easy to search. You go to Facebook, you type in your area and wholesalers or investors, and it'll come right up. All right, so approach number one. Also, everybody give a shout out to my lovely, absolutely beautiful wife in the back, Brittany. She made this graphic for me. Love you. That's awesome. All right, so this is approach number one. You are the seller side wholesaler. So that means you work with who? The seller. You guys are brilliant. Love it. The seller. Your contract is with the seller. So you have a contract between you and the seller, and that's what you're bringing to the table, but you don't have buyers. Anybody ever had a deal locked up where they didn't have any buyers? Yes. All right. You're going to bring in a wholesaler who does have buyers. Remember those wholesalers that you found off Google? A lot of those are the big wholesalers in that area, right? Do you think they have a good cache of buyers? Right? Are you willing to pay them a couple bucks to get a deal instead of no deal? Yes, there you go. So you are bringing the seller. You handle the whole seller side, and then the co-wholesaler is going to come in, and he will be bringing the buyer. All right, pros and providing a seller. So pros and cons of providing a seller. You get to control the deal. If you have the contract with the seller, that's really where as soon as you have that, you've created something. You've done work. It is now valuable. Right? Buyers are going to search after you. Other wholesalers are going to search after you. Depending on how you want to set it up, you can have multiple wholesalers trying to sell your deal, which you own. So if any of them sell it, you get paid. Sound good? So you get to control the deal. Your title company, is that important? Yes! Ridiculously important, right? If you're at a title company if you go to somebody else's title company, okay, number one, if they're a big investor, they have a good relationship with their title company, and they can do weird things like sneak backdoor to your sellers and buyers and stuff, which I've heard stories of like that stuff happening. So there's that, but that's not really the big thing. The big thing is you want to be able to do whatever with your contract that you'd like, which means assignments, double closes, invoices, commission agreements, etc. So you want to make sure you have your title company, and you get that if you're bringing the seller because you set the title company. Your rules, right? You set the stage. It is up to you to decide how the deal is going to progress, which buyer you give it to, which wholesaler you give it to, if you give it to any of them. And if you want to take it away, it's your deal. All right, marketing costs. So the cons are marketing costs. Normally when you're bringing in sellers, if you're putting out mailer and things like this, is that expensive? Yeah, it can be pretty expensive. Earnest money deposits. If you have the contract with the seller, could they possibly demand a high earnest money deposit? Yes, right? Do they always? No, right? Especially there's some places in the Midwest. Talk to Dinesh. He's like, he just bought a house for $10. Bought. Is that like a penny earnest money? So time consuming. If you're working with a seller, could you get caught up in a long negotiation with them? Yes, pretty easily, right? We just closed one. Is Austin in the house? Austin Zabak? He's on his way out. He was coming back as fast as he could. We just did one where, and the deal had been going for like 8 months. It was the longest deal ever. We're closing it for $52,000 on Monday, but 5 months of negotiation. So good deal, but that's a lot of work. That's a lot of time. Time consuming. Responsibility to the seller. If the deal doesn't sell and everything goes crazy, who are they going to be mad at? Us, right? That's the sad part. And there's tons of ways to make sure that goes off smoothly. So don't think that's an end all, they're going to be mad at you. It's not true. And then, boom, bonus positive. I'm sorry that you guys did not expect that and have to take 2 pictures. Somehow it got out of order. But you set your profit. This is what negates the marketing costs potentially for you, is you set your profit. So if you want to wrap in your profit before you'll give it to a wholesaler, and if you negotiate an absolutely smoking deal, that profit, the majority of that profit will come to you, and a co-wholesaler will still sell it if they're making just a couple bucks off the top. By a couple bucks, I mean a few grand. All right, approach number 2. This is the buyer side. So buyer side, seller's got a house. They sell it to a co-wholesaler. The co-wholesaler has a contract. You're bringing the buyer. So they control the deal. You're bringing the buyer. Essentially, this can go 2 ways. In order to co-wholesale his deal, what do you need? A marketing agreement, a flex option, yep, equitable interest. So I'm not saying this, okay? Just mute this out. Don't remember this. Just kidding, remember this. I didn't say this. No, there's no, okay, disclaimer. Figure this out for yourself. In my personal business, once you do a lot of these relationships, some of these details where you have to get a flex option at every property melts away a little bit. Or a lot. But you should run your business to a T. Remember, you can let it melt away like that so you don't have to do them on every single deal, but you need them on every single deal. It's important. So co-wholesaler. So you're bringing the buyer. They have the deal. They did all the hard work. Now you have a buyer that says, oh yeah, I want that deal for $5,000 up, $10,000 up, and you bring the deal in and you're connecting them. That's who you're bringing to the closing table. Pros and cons of providing a buyer. So low marketing costs. We don't have any marketing costs, do we? Just whatever it took for us to find the buyer. Your rules, which is generally way less than finding a seller. Your rules, so it's your buyer, and then fast process. This is what I like the best about bringing a buyer, is that you are on the cusp of making money. When you are working sellers, is there a deal there until a contract's signed? No. Do you have to do a lot of work working that seller even before you even have a contract signed? Yes. So what's great about finding a buyer is you know there is a deal there. It's already done. You are working on a real opportunity. You're bringing the second piece of the puzzle. So you're on the cutting edge of when you make a check. Normally, I suggest, either is great, but I like finding sellers originally and then switching to buyers as soon as you can, just because then you're on the edge, the cutting edge every time of making that check. You're not working on something unless it has the total potential to make you money. Long-term relationships. With sellers, you can generally, unless it's a big seller, you're generally looking at one property. And if you're looking at multiple properties, it's normally all at once, right? Which is awesome, fantastic. But it's not something where you're going to come back every year after year. Generally, those definitely exist. You can definitely find those. We've done lots of deals with big guys like that, where they're slowly liquidating their portfolio. But for the most part, you work really hard on a seller, they sign the contract, they move to someplace not so hot, if you're in Arizona, right? So then they're out. Whereas with buyers, you can sell them multiple properties, and they'll keep coming back because they keep making money. It's their business model, and you can do multiple deals for infinity with them. Less control. Whose title company are you probably going to have to use? Selling co-wholesalers, right? Which normally is going to be an investor-friendly title company. You'll be all right. Different title co, right? Their rules. So you've got your rules as you're trying to implement them, and then you've got them actually controlling the property, which can be tricky. And then earnest money required sometimes. If you're co-wholesaling a property and you don't have a good relationship with the wholesaler, would they potentially require you to put up earnest on maybe if you have an assignment from the co-wholesaler to you, and then from you to your end buyer, would they potentially require you to put up earnest between you and them? Yes, right? Now, we're going to talk about how you talk to different sellers, right? Different co-wholesalers and whatnot, so that you don't have to do that, because you really don't. Also, you can structure your paperwork. Sit down with your title officer or your attorney, and you can structure your paperwork so that the earnest money from your end buyer flows to the A to B contract, or will flow to your assignment. So you don't have to put up any earnest. That's how I do absolutely all of my deals right now.
Is there a clause for that in order for that to flow that way?
Yes.
What does it say, for example?
In other words, does clever investor have a contract or
I think we do. Yeah, good question. I think we do. I don't know the verbiage off the top of my head, but I believe that it's in one of the newer assignments that we just uploaded. So. It should be in the fast track, yes. Okay. Yeah, good question. And then also, if there's remember, if you ever want to change your paperwork, like you're in control of your own destiny, so you can talk to the title officer, hey, I want this to happen with this paperwork. If they sign it, I want it to mean this, and you can write it in. Earnest money required. I'm just going to leave the slide up there like that. I don't really know how that happened, but it looks cool. Identify a need. So when you're setting the playing field, you need to identify a need in your market and figure out what do they need properties or buyers, or do they need both? Is there a play to do both, or do they need one or the other, particularly in your market? What is more expensive to generate in your market? That's super important because you need to look at the entire model to figure out if it's going to be most profitable for you one way or the other. And what takes more time? Is time money? Yes, definitely is. If I can do a rehab and it's going to take me 9 months and I'll make 40 grand, or I can wholesale it right now and make 30, which one should I take? 30. Probably 30, right? Because I can do how many wholesales from here till then with the time I would have spent managing that rehab? What, 3 more? Instead of just making an extra 10? Step 2, choose your focus. So once you've done this, get these action steps down. You're going to make this decision, this point-blank decision, which one you're going to focus on. I highly recommend choosing one or the other. If you're going to try and focus on both and you're starting out, it's a bad move. Focus on one or the other to start out. If you've been doing this a long time and you're really great with buyers, maybe it's time to start pulling in a seller piece or vice versa. All right, so down and dirty. We're going to dive into some of the actual tactics that we use to find sellers and to find buyers. And then we're going to open it up so people can kind of throw it out there, like, oh yeah, I do this, etc. Okay, so before I dive into this, I want to bring somebody up that he's in the back, he's probably like super excited about this, that I do a ton of co-wholesale deals with. He's an absolute stud. He's done every type of co-wholesale you can think of. We're going to talk about how you can do payment structures, how you can do the paperwork on deals. He's done all of them. And so I'm going to have him come up. He is an absolute ninja at pretty much actually all of these strategies. There's maybe 1 or 2 in here that he doesn't actively use. So I'm going to bring him up. He's going to help me explain this. It's going to be ridiculously fun. Please give a warm welcome to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Hunter Runyon, as he comes up and said, yeah! Looking good. What? Oh, yeah. How's it going, dude? Woo. Dude, see? I'm telling you, you guys are the best. I'm telling you, when the music is on, you run up on stage, it feels pretty good. Yeah, people were clapping.
It's nice.
I got way excited. All right. Okay, so Hunter, real quick, okay, you started how many years ago?
About 2.5.
About 2.5 years ago. And then how many, which is cool because did we meet at this Clever Summit?
First time, correct.
First
yeah,
time?
2014.
The last summit we did, I think it was 2 years ago, is when the first time that we met. We now actively do multiple deals together, I'd say every week. And so he's an absolute rock star. How many deals have you done up till this point?
72.
Woo! No big thing. No big thing. All right. And then I know we bragged about you a little bit. Cody bragged about you a little bit yesterday. But just for kicks and giggles, how old are you right now?
I'm 20.
Woo,
I turned 20 in March.
Not a big thing. What up? That's good. All right. So, you know those really smart tech guys that like don't necessarily, they're not big at like talking on the phone. They're not big at like being like, hey, what's going on? Like super outgoing dudes, but are ridiculously smart and dedicated to their work and can figure out things on the computer that nobody else can figure out and stuff like that. That's this guy right here. So, all right, so he's going to walk us through. We're going to go back and forth as we dive through these super exciting, some of these strategies that you guys can actually implement. Do you want to take the cool little clicker?
I think you should use a cool
think I
clicker.
should
I'm just
click?
going to read off the thing.
I like that. That's a good deal. All right, so okay, here we go. So, okay, first let's talk about
Finding sellers, right? The down and dirty of finding sellers.
Yep.
There's different ways that we do this. Some of the most basic are, of course, owners, little wholesalers, agents with motivated clients.
Yep. So that's the people that you're looking for, right?
Correct.
So when you're out there when you're going through the different methods of bringing in sellers, these are the things that you're looking for. Why are we looking for little wholesalers? Why are we looking for other wholesalers? Because we're going to co-wholesale, guys. Come on now. Right? We're going to co-wholesale. Some people are like, dude, that's an easy question. Should I answer that? Because we're going to co-wholesale, right? So we're going to co-wholesale. All right. Why would we be interested in agents with motivated clients?
Because they have the biggest database.
That's good. That's really good. What are agents doing when they go out and find their deals? They can bring you a property before it hits the MLS. Genius, right? So they're already doing this. They're already well known as agents, and they have a good reputation. When a seller's working with an agent, do they have a sense of security?
Yes.
Comfort? Yes. Right? Definitely, right? Patrick's like, yeah, they do. 100%. Patrick's a rock star here in Phoenix. So absolutely they do. Agents with motivated clients. They'll do a pocket listing to you, and it's some of the easiest deals that we've done, right? So you want to find, these are your 3 targets when you're looking for sellers. Most people, before they think about it, are like, oh, I just want owners. I don't even want to talk to other wholesalers. Wrong. You need to talk to other wholesalers. And talking to other wholesalers is what will make you infinitely more than just working sellers. All right, go for it.
Some of the avenues to find these people would be mailers. Of course, you're looking for owners, Craigslist, banner signs, social serve,
Yep.
probate, driving for dollars, local agents' offices for pocket listings, yard sales, for sell-by owners, which is typically on Zillow, rentals, as
Yep.
well as on Zillow, other wholesalers' signs, which are everywhere, and MLS, which you
Sweet.
use agents for.
Which one of these do you focus the most on with your time?
I do a lot of MLS, for
Yep.
sure, other wholesalers,
Yeah.
social serve, done drive for dollars, quite a bit of. So
Cruising around. So a good amount of these. Here in Phoenix, is it real beneficial to do a ton of mailers?
no,
Yeah, I knew that
Absolutely
answer.
not.
No, it's not.
those have been drained.
Cool, but awesome. So social serve, driving for dollars, and then you said agents, MLS are also big.
For
Cool.
sell-by owners as well. Those
I
are
love
all
it.
always good. So
How can anybody throw out some other ones that aren't on this screen? We're actually going to walk through it real quick. We're going to take 2 seconds. We're going to bust out a couple slides. We'll explain that here in a sec. Any others that people want to throw out? Obituary? Love it. Love it. Love it. What do you got, Patrick? Expired listings. Brilliant, right? Listability. Yeah, so listability pulling absentee owners, right? And actually going out and finding absentee owners. Anybody else? Yeah, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else? Anything else? Title company. Brilliant, right? I like that. That's good. If a deal's falling out, the title company is going to be the first one to know about it, right? If a buyer's walking from a deal and you're in tight with the title officer, title agent, or your closing attorney, that's good. Anything else? Attorneys. Absolutely, right? Attorneys, if a deal's going crazy, what about a BK attorney, right? Bankruptcy attorney. Yeah, mortuaries, right? Exactly.
probate attorneys.
Yeah,
as well.
probate attorneys,
Divorce attorneys.
divorce attorneys. All of these are leads, right? when you're kicking this off, don't write down a huge list of a million different things that you got to go do and then blow your mind. Focus on a couple of them. Get them done. The ones that are easiest for you. Yeah. Yard sales. Okay, so a lot of times a yard sale is the same as an estate sale, right? A lot of times when they're giving a yard sale, it's because they're moving, because they're looking to get rid of things before they move, stuff like that. So, and actually, we've gotten deals from yard sales. For a while, we had our guys drive to yard sales on Saturday. They'd come back with all types of retarded stuff. But yeah, exactly. You can definitely get deals from yard sales. All right. And then let's dive into the nitty-gritty
of Zillow for sale by owners.
Yeah.
Yes. So on Zillow, it's very simple. Has anyone here called for sale by owners on Zillow? Some people. So you back there, you got some. So it's pretty simple. You just go to Zillow.com. You'll search your city and state name and hit search. And that's what the main page looks like, by the way. So once you get to the main page, you'll want to perfect your criteria to make it smaller. You'll always want to stick it to owner-occupied, so you're not calling agents.
Yep.
Which looks like that.
Brilliant. Everybody getting that? Everybody feeling good? You guys are going to get back home, have like a bajillion pictures on your phones, be like, oh my gosh.
So once you search on Zillow, it brings you to a field, and it gives you your listing type. Under listing type, you'll choose for sale by owner.
Yep. I think you can see it in that second picture there.
You do, yeah.
And you actually have to deselect all of the other ones.
Yeah,
to
it
get
says
that
for
one.
sale on there because we changed the criteria to only show it.
Yeah.
But it would normally say listing type.
Cool. Yeah.
So here is your listings, which are always on the right of your page. So once you change your criteria, it automatically populates to show your new listings, and it just shows them in an endless line. So you just scroll down. So what you do is just scroll through your listings, select the listing, and the contact info is always toward the bottom of the page. What's kind of important here, though, is not to waste time looking at the listings. Just start at the top, call everyone, and go through.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch that? Yeah. Okay. How many people remember how I said you sit on the dock with your toes in the water, and you're like, well, the water might be cooler in a little bit, and it might be that looks like a stinky fish, right? And you're trying to come up with reasons why you shouldn't jump in the water. Oh my gosh, this happens all the time. You hop on, you pull them up, you're like, oh, you get the context.
House shopping.
Yeah, you're not house shopping, guys. You are not house shopping. You're just calling. That's it. You get there, you pull up Zillow, you're like, I'm going to do this. You're expecting to make your first call in 15 minutes after you figure it out. You figure it out in 30 seconds, and you poop your pants, right? And you're like, oh, I can't call, right? No, just call through all of them. Don't come up with reasons why one's not good and one's not. Worst case scenario, you make a friend. Just call them. All right, social serve.
Social serve.
Yeah.
So social serve is a website where, what is it? It's for Section 8, correct?
Yeah, Section 8.
Yeah, so where owners will list their properties for Section 8 tenants. So that's what it's driven for. So what you'll do is on social serve, you go to socialserve.com. It pulls up the main page, which you'll see on your screen. It just shows every state name. You just select your state. Once you select your state, it'll go through. Once you click your state, it'll change. It'll populate. And it'll show you the available cities in your state that social serve has. You just select your state or your city in your state.
Yeah. Is that complicated, guys? No, that's pretty simple,
Easy,
right?
yeah.
This makes us money. Can you believe that? Is that ridiculous or what? This is easy. All right. You won't have any of that.
Yeah, these don't do it.
Yeah, it's a public website.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to know. Yeah.
It did. I believe it has it for every state now. So.
I'm almost positive
Yeah.
it's every state. If it's not, let us know, because
And it doesn't have it in every city in your state, though. It's probably just going to be the large ones.
Okay.
Any large
yeah,
metropolitan.
Good clarification. Good clarification. And then did somebody need a question repeated or? All right. I can't even remember what the question was. So too bad.
I believe it was about if it had a trial period, which it's free. It's
Oh yeah,
public
there's no
information.
trial period. There's no trial period. It's just public information. And then Laura, did you have something? Oh, awesome. So like sites that are really similar. Thank you. GoSection8.com. Yeah. Yep. Give me one sec. What was that?
So Section 8, they are absentee owners, right? So if they're listed, if they have the house listed for
find
Section
sellers.
8, they're not living there. They're renting it. And if someone's renting a house, there's a potential chance they'll want to sell it. Landlords get tired, so.
Yeah, exactly. And then she just asked, this is to find sellers, correct? And yes, this is also to find sellers.
Correct.
All right. And then after you've found your city,
After you find your city, it'll take you to this page. It's just a criteria page. The only thing you want to change on it is right in the middle. It says rent range 0 to 1,500. Just turn it to max, just so you get every listing. There's no reason not to look at every one. Once you click that, it'll bring you to your page of listings, which on here there's 361 listings. You want to click into your listing and scroll through them. What's important on the listings, though, is that sometimes they're listed by Section 8 companies. Don't call those. They're a waste of time. You want to make sure it says, when we switch the slide, it'll show you.
Yep.
But you want to look for owner. It'll say owner on them. So private owner, and then voila, his phone number.
Awesome. Got it. Cool. And then also, some of these names are popping up on the screen. Just make sure, if you see your name, just head back to the AV table in the back there, and they're waiting for you. Cool. Awesome. Everybody tracking? Everybody feeling good? Got this down? Awesome. Pretty basic, right? We're not doing anything crazy. It's basic. It's just doing it. And there's some ninja tricks in there, too. Like, we do some fancy stuff.
We'll get into finding buyers a little bit here. So this is what I'm really good at. So my targets are fix and flip investors, buy and hold investors, agent with cash buyers, and big wholesalers, and even some smaller wholesalers as well.
Why would you want big wholesalers as a target? Yeah, exactly, right? But then, so we're co-wholesale maybe. But why else would we want to find, because this is our buyers list. These guys are going on our buyers to like buy stuff from us. Big wholesalers. After they've done this a long time, do they start to build up maybe a cash or a little purse of money? Yes, and will a big wholesaler take down a property that he knows it'll take him a week to sell, or 2 weeks, or a month? Would he take it down? Absolutely. So find your big wholesalers. Some of them are the real deal and will legitimately close on your property even before they have a buyer. Cool.
Yeah, so some of the avenues, I think the best avenue for finding buyers, in my opinion, is social media. So that's where I would direct my focus. A lot of good buyers are on Craigslist. You can do specific searches on Craigslist like newly remodeled. Like that's it. If it's newly remodeled, of course, they just remodeled it. They're probably investors, right? Bandit signs always work well, especially in like lower income areas.
Yep.
Meetups work well, a little bit time consuming. Calling off of Yelp.
Anybody ever done that?
Yeah. Calling off of Yelp, there's really good buyers. Or calling Facebook pages.
Anybody ever done that? Oh,
We'll break that down.
Up top. Boom. All right.
Yeah, we'll break that down.
Yeah, if you ever get time to pick Hunter's brain, he's got like 50,000 million of those little nuggets.
And then you and posting on Facebook groups, but you can break that down into just like Facebook, LinkedIn. You could post, even use hashtags as well, or Craigslist, like posting on Craigslist. I have 3 Craigslist accounts going. There's like 40 active ads at all time that are constantly being refreshed every day.
No big thing. So cool. That's awesome. Anything else? Huh? Depends on the other wholesaler. Most of the time, you're going to drop the paperwork for your part of the transaction. You're going to use your paperwork for your part, and they're going to use their paperwork for their part. Yep. Sometimes they will, if you get fancy and you're working off an invoice or a commission or something like that, sometimes they'll use their paperwork to write directly to your buyer. Yeah. Yep. The last Craigslist automator I bought, I paid $100 for 3 months, had 3 chargebacks, and 0 service. So I have yet to find a good one. Does anybody know a good Craigslist automator ad system? Anybody? This is that. And you've used it, has it worked?
Yes, I got it. I got the training for
Oh, really? Oh, amazing. I didn't even know they offered that. I'm going to go talk. Huh? If this, then that. Okay. Okay, it's for pulling ads. Okay, so I'm still waiting to find one that's good for posting. All of our VAs do it all now.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I'm still waiting to find a good one because all I've gotten so far is really cool Google PPC click ads. I'm like, this looks awesome, and I buy it, and it's absolute garbage. So cool. Anything else for finding avenues for finding buyers that you guys want to throw out? Yep. So we're actually going to walk through that. Yeah, we're going to walk through that one. And Yelp. We were going to walk through both of those. Yeah, I love that.
RIAs, meetups.
Meetups and RIAs, yep. Perfect. Genius. Anything else? Anything else you want to throw out there? All right, we're going to dive into the next one. Facebook
So
pages.
we'll break down Facebook now.
Yeah.
So on Facebook, what's really important to just type your city, you can do city or state name, followed by the word real estate and hit search. It doesn't matter what city or state name it is, just hit search.
Yep.
It'll bring you to this page. The next slide will show us. So, once,
Mayday, mate. Wait, you
What'd you
guys,
do?
come on, keep up. Let's go.
jeez,
I'm just
too
cheering.
fast.
Wait, hold on. Is that the next one? All right, give me a second here, guys. Thought I pushed it like 5 times. There we go.
She's back.
Cool. Nice. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Remember, this is your session. Like we're here so that you guys can absolutely rock it on Monday. All right, everybody got it? Cool. We're ready for the next one.
Okay, so once you do that, it'll populate you to this page. On the top of the page, it'll show you different criteria you can choose, such as people, photos, videos, pages, places, groups, apps, etc. You'll want to click pages. What this does, it's going to pull up every single page on Facebook in Phoenix, Arizona, or whatever city you choose or state that has the criteria real estate investment as their service. So every business that has real estate investment as their service is now pulled up as a list, like an endless list that just loads. And
Is that a
loads
big thing?
And loads.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all Hunter, this guy.
So just, yeah, you start at the top and just one at a time go through.
Yep. And do you
And-
see, let me see if it shows up on there. Let me see if it's on there. Down, it's literally, when you're on the page, like, see how it says call now? So that's right there, and a lot of times their email, or you can message them right there.
Yeah, they always have their cell phone number, their email, because you have to have it to set it up, and usually a website link.
Freaking awesome. All right, yep. Ooh,
To call off Messenger, you would, but I wouldn't call off Messenger. I would call off your cell phone.
yeah.
They'll have their actual cell phone number listed. You'll see in a second, but it'll have the actual phone number always listed.
Yep. So yeah, you can still open up and see the real phone number. You don't have to click the button. You guys ready for some Yelp? You guys feeling excited? Oh yeah. There you go. Nice. I think everybody kind of like was on the same bandwagon. It was like Yelp. All right, way to go.
Yelp works very similar to Facebook, actually, really. So it has two categories, find and near. In find, you want to find real estate investment, and near your city and state, so Phoenix, Arizona. So very similar to that, and you'll just search.
Yep.
It's almost the same thing. Once again, it pulls up an endless list of every business on Yelp
Yep.
that does real estate services with their contact information.
Yeah. Could you, off of these two simple but mostly unused strategies, remember, like literally, we said, hey, how many people are using this, and nobody raised their hand in here? Okay, like this is pretty representative of like general people in general. So there's not a lot of people hitting these people up, right? These are pretty good, pretty solid leads. Could you get, could you get 30 new leads in a day just calling through both of these? Yeah, you could. You could get 30 buyers calling through in one day. Is that pretty good? Yeah. How many people are going to do it? All right, figure out who else is in your area, slap them real quick, take them, no, I'm just steal their phone. No, all right, yep. One slide, yeah. Oh, let me see, I went back 2 slides, so we'll have to play through this real quick, and then we're there. This guy? I think we haven't gotten to it yet. Yeah, that's the new super exciting stuff. Is this what you needed? All right. See, I was trying to give him a sneak peek. All right, we're in Facebook. So the slide is that one. Okay, that's what you needed. Sorry.
Perfect.
Cool. Yep, awesome. Yeah.
In addition to calling them, do you ever, if you have an active property that you have to sell, do you post it on their page as well?
It'll get a horrible response.
Yeah,
People just ignore it. They'll think it's spam.
Yeah, I don't do it. So the question was, if you have a property to sell, this is a great question. If you have a property to sell right then, instead of just calling them or messaging them, do you ever just post it on their page? Or in addition to, and which maybe in addition to might work.
Yeah, if they know who you are, then it could potentially work.
Yep.
But I would keep it to actual real estate related groups, because Facebook might even spam you for doing that. Because if you're pasting a template to a bunch of people, there's a potential chance they'll.
And then
knock
if
you
you,
for it.
yeah. Yep. One more slide. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure it's the right slide. Just start over one more time. All right. Everyone's like, no. All right. This is the first page. Got it? Awesome. Cool. Yes.
So when you search, it's basically an endless list of basically businesses that you search. When you search your category, it brings up every business. My bad. I speak pretty quick. If I go too quick, just yell, slow down. Okay?
His brain really moves really fast.
Totally
so his mouth moves
acceptable.
really fast.
So when you search real estate in Phoenix, it brings up every business that is listed on Yelp in Phoenix with that category. So it's not technically endless, but it's a lot. So as you scroll down, it just keeps going and going and going. Yeah, exactly, yep. Of every
Or
business
individuals.
listing. Yep. Or individuals, yeah.
Yeah.
There's agents as well on there.
So,
Every one of them, because you typed in real estate investment, so those words are in there somehow.
yeah.
It's real. There are real estate related
you're
at
looking-
that point.
Yeah, you're looking for buyers.
Go ahead. Has to be a personal one. No, well, yeah, because if you're going to message, you can only do it out of a personal account. And a business one, they're, in all honesty, a little bit useless for this.
Good question.
Yep.
Good question.
Unless you wanted to direct them to that, you could use that as like a direct-to website.
Yeah. Could you search for other things besides real estate investment on here?
Yeah. Anything related, like construction. Construction is really good. Anything construction related. You could break construction down into 20, 30 different categories.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you search
Yeah.
for like contractors.
Contractors, construction management, GCs, etc. I mean,
Yeah.
anything.
And when you make a phone call to one of these people, nobody said that your first phone call has to get them on your list, right? Nobody said your first phone call has to be turning them into a buyer or seeing if they want to buy something, right? If they're a general contractor, we have so many buyers that are general contractors. It's pretty standard, right? So if you're a general contractor on here and you call them the first time and say, hey, I want to see some samples of your work, I'm an investor here in Phoenix, is that a better introduction than, hey, I just want to call you and see if you want to buy property? Yeah, so start with that. It's easy. I want to see some samples of your work, see what you got going on. You might be able to use them, right? You might be able to use them or at least refer them to your buyer. All right, I'm going to take one more question and then write it down. I saw your hand first, so let's write your questions down, though, because I want to get to them. We just got to do it at the end so we keep moving. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I had the property on contract, does that agent deserve a commission off my closing since that agent had the property listed? If so, should I go to the real estate agent so that and let them know, hey,
Yep.
I'm the owner of this?
Yep. So that's a great question. So he's saying if you're in contact with the seller and you're like, yeah, and the seller's like, I'll take 300, and you're super excited. Huh? Oh, sorry, yeah. His question was, if you find a seller, if you're working with a seller and they tell you that they have a real estate agent, can you do a deal directly with the seller, or do you have to go to the real estate agent? That was his question. Okay, the responsibility to pay the agent is a contract that's written between the agent and their client, right? So it is their responsibility to pay their agent. Are we good people? Yes. So do we talk to the agent? No. Yes. No. All right, never mind. So most of the time we'll go through the agent, but it is the seller's responsibility to pay the agent. They're the ones with the contract. We have no contract with them. And if you're not licensed, you don't have an issue. If you are licensed, then you do absolutely have to go through the agent. Make sense? Cool. All right, so let's keep rolling. And remember, write down your questions.
Have you ever advised clients?
Write them down. That's a good. Okay, one more question. What was it?
Have you ever advised a client to cancel his contract with the realtor just to make it?
Absolutely, right? If the realtor's doing nothing and is in the Bahamas has gone to Mexico and they haven't talked to him in 6 months, absolutely, right? You have to be careful because they're in the contracts that you have with the realtor. A lot of times there's an overflow date that if it sells within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, after it's expired, they can still claim a commission. Most of the time they don't if they don't know. All right, and then call or email them.
Yeah, that's if you click into
Yep.
that business ad. So
All right, setting your price. We're going to whip through these because we technically have like not very much time. So we got to go. All right, so setting your price. There's
breakdown
three
of how you
typical
get paid.
pricing options. We've got net to me, which is you saying if you represent the seller, you're saying I want 150 grand net to me. Right? You're telling if you have it for 70 and you say I want 150 grand net to me, then the person bringing the buyer knows that you have to make at least 150 grand. So I got to pay everything on top of that, which is escrow fees, which is agent fees, whatever else I want to tack on there. I know that he's got to make 150 grand or whatever the number is, net to me. That's the clause that everybody uses for the most part. Then we got 50-50 split. So a lot of co-wholesalers will do a 50-50 split once they've built up a relationship. I'm into the deal for 100. Then this is the way you'll talk. You'll say, hey, if you're representing the seller, hey, I'm into the deal for 135,000. So anything we get over that, we can split. Pretty simple, right? And vice versa. So if somebody saying that to you. And last but not least is flat fee charge. There's some guys, I charge a flat fee of $3,000 to bring a buyer. Right? There's some guys that do that. A lot of them are tied into bidding services. They're used to the flat fee, or their buyer just tacks on and knows they're going to pay the fee for the property. Okay, real quick. We got like 50,000 more slides. Not really, but we got to move. Yep, absolutely. Okay, communicating with sellers. There are owners, little wholesalers, and agents with motivated sellers. You have to talk to each of them differently. So I'm just going to click these up and we'll roll through them. Lots of rapport needed with owners, right? That's the sale process. You have to be in good rapport with them in order to get them down to a price that makes sense for both of you and make them consider your interest. You are the buyer. When you're representing them, you're telling them that you are the buyer, okay? And you're a buyer that has funding partners because on the contract, you are the buyer. And ultimately, your end buyer will fund it. So this is all 100% true. You're the buyer. You're going to represent to them that you're a buyer and you have funding partners. Everybody get that? It's important. You need to know how to talk to owners. And then your wholesale contract. So it can be your contract. You're going to be at the kitchen table with them. And most of the time, they're really comfortable signing as long as you have a good rapport. So it's your wholesale contract, which protects you a lot. Little wholesalers. So little wholesalers, some rapport needed. Not a ton. They're in the business. They may have heard your name, but really they want to do a deal. They need a buyer, they need a seller. It doesn't really matter who you particularly are as long as they know that you're not an absolutely horrible person. They'll want to do a deal with you. You are bringing the buyer, not the buyer. Okay, so for little wholesalers, when you're communicating with a wholesaler, this is impertinent, ridiculously, like have to know information. You guys ready for this? If you're talking to another wholesaler, you do not tell them that you are the buyer. Everybody got that? You tell them that you are a wholesaler who has a lot of buyers. Why do you do that? Yeah, but to be honest, that's great. But all of a sudden, you went from having to negotiate with this guy on price and jockey back and forth and have to deal with his retarded contract and then have to hide it from him the whole time. You went from that to, oh, awesome, dude, bring me a buyer.
It complicates it. You would have to put up earnest at that point as well.
You would have to put up earnest. Now you don't have to put up
deadlines.
earnest.
There would be docs made up, drawn up, everything.
Yeah, it's a pain. So make sure you represent when you're talking to little wholesalers. Just tell them that you're also a wholesaler. You have that in common. That way you don't have all the hiccups. Option contract, when you're working with little wholesalers, you can put it underneath an option contract. Flex option gives you the right to market it, gives you equitable interest, makes it legal. And then their paperwork. Generally, you're going to use their paperwork if you're working with little wholesalers until it gets to your point, and then it'll be your paperwork with your buyer. Agents with motivated sellers. So agents with motivated sellers, there's a couple little extra things that you want to know about agents with motivated sellers. You need some rapport, same with little wholesalers, right? They want to get a deal done ultimately, and it doesn't really super ridiculously matter if they love you personally. You are the buyer again. So we switched back. You are the buyer again. Standard realtor contract. So you need them to feel comfortable. It has to be on a standard realtor contract. You are the buyer, and POF, what does that stand for? Boom, proof of funds is needed. And if you don't have proof of funds, you can either get with somebody that can give you one, or you can just fish around on the internet and make one. I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. Actually, I'm totally joking about that. That didn't come out of my mouth. So, really though, I've actually never done that, but I'm just saying.
How would you not do that if you weren't going to do that?
You would call a bank and say, I need a proof of funds showing my the funds that I have in my account currently available. And then they would print it out. Your banker would print it out, give it to you. It'd be a proof of funds. So you'd have to bring in a private money guy. Or the next best thing, go to your hard money guy and get a pre-qual for hard money, because they'll give them to you like that. Yeah. Pre-qual.
Pre-qualify. Yeah.
Everybody know what hard money is? All right, cool. So hard money is just a loan that is not based on the borrower's credit. A loan not based on the borrower's credit. So you can show that as if that is cash, and then show if they really care the remaining 20%. I've done lots of deals that way with just a pre-qual for hard money. And they'll write it up in any amount they want because it's just a general pre-qual. You can get with a hard money lender for that. 2 tiers of buyers. Seasoned investors. So seasoned investors, you need little rapport. What do they care about ultimately? The deal, right? Little rapport, large discount needed, negotiation experience needed. How many people have been like chiseled by a big buyer? Last minute, they're going to close. Yo, man, I was just out of the property. This is going to cost way more than I thought. Like, I don't even know about this deal anymore. I'm really going back and forth. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, I could do it, but that's probably going to be $4,000 for me to fix that. You know, can you get me, like, give me something, dude. Just let's make a deal. And you got to be like, I'd love to, man, but I have a rule at my company that I don't get swindled. No, I'm just joking. You're like, I don't get swindled? But no, I would love to do that for you, man. But on this one, I've got partners, and there was just so much interest in this deal that I cannot justify to my partner selling it less than what we've already sold it for. So if this is something you want to do, I hope it's still a good deal for you. I think it is. If this is something you want to do, then I'd love for you to close it. If not, my partner's going to take your earnest, and hopefully at some point in the future we can get another deal. And then he'll be like, oh, dang, it's not going to work. Right? And then he'll close. And then don't like to be pushed. Hunter knows a lot about this. Yep. Right? And it's just, we'll talk more about kind of your pitch, but you just want to be easy with them. You throw them a deal. If they like it, great. If they don't, no worries. You're not pitching them. Speculators. Hunter is the master of finding speculator buyers, if you want to talk on them.
So speculator buyers, they obviously lack experience like seasoned investors.
Mm-hmm.
They are maybe a once every 3-month buyer, maybe once a year, twice a year, whatever it is. They're not like a seasoned investor. They're usually fairly new, lots of rapport needed. They need lenders, contractors, every contact you can imagine. They don't need much of a discount because they're not looking to make 50, 60 grand on a house like a normal seasoned investor is. They just want to make 10. They just want to do it. They want to be able to move into the project, maybe be a simpler project, clean it up, and sell it and make a profit. They just want to break into the game. So they don't need much of a discount, and they need to be pushed. They are not fast at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't understand the process. So they need help with contracts, earnest, title, etc.
Yeah. Cool. Don't waste time on buyers who want insanely good deals just because they have money to spend. That's my pro tip. I've gotten a million times when somebody says, yeah, I'll pay, I've got this much money, sends me a proof of funds for $4 million and says that they'll buy everything I have at 65% of retail. Thank you for bringing absolutely zero value to the table for me. Why would I sell it? So don't spend time working for those people. Number one, you will not find them a deal, because it's way too hard to find a deal that's ridiculously discounted depending on what market you're in, right? It's way too hard to find a deal to find that's that low. But then also, you could have sold that deal, instead of at 65%, you could have sold it at 75 or 85%. So by selling to him, you're losing money. So don't waste your time on them. Put them in your autoresponder, have them get your emails, and at some point they might see something that, even though they want 65%, that's what they say, they're like, oh, this is real close to my house, I'll take it. Benefits of having speculators in the market. So speculators are literally your managers, your white-collar doctors, dentists, orthodontists, those types of guys.
CEOs, CFOs,
Yep.
chiropractors, any kind of normal, basically self-employed career or
Yep.
higher up kind of career.
Mm-hmm. And they have an interest in real estate. That's your speculators. So you're able to sell deals with smaller spreads, able to sell more deals because of that, able to sell other wholesale deals marked up, which is what allows you to co-wholesale easily. Small chance of being backdoored because they don't know everybody in the space, and then sell what others can't, and everyone wins. They're fine making 10 grand, and that is a win for them on a deal, or making a small amount. That is a win for them. So you get the best of both worlds. You make your money off another wholesaler's deal. The wholesaler makes their money. The seller gets what they want. And your buyer still makes the 10 grand that they weren't going to make otherwise because they're a dentist or attorney or something along those lines. Identifying two-tier markets. If you want to roll through it, go for it. Oh, my bad.
Well, I can't skip
I got
past the
way
thing.
too excited, guys. I apologize.
Jumpy fingers.
Jumpy fingers.
Yeah, so this is based off of growth, essentially, but we use previous 1-year appreciation, 2-year appreciation, 5, distance from its '07 high plus inflation. So this is, if it's past its '07 high plus inflation, it's already overinflated. It's already past the high of '07.
Yep.
New development rate, which is growth, and then economic growth as well.
Cool. Everybody tracking out? This is a little complicated. This doesn't matter that much. This isn't going to make or break you. This is great if you're looking at other remote, like
Yep.
places to remote wholesale.
This is how we look at it, so.
Yeah, and this is how we look at it. 1 year of appreciation, because if that's high, then it's pretty good. Might be starting an uptrend. If 2 years is high, then okay, looking better. 5 years, like, oh, okay, this has been on a high trend for a long time. Speculators notice when it's on a high trend for a long time. And they say, ooh, this keeps going up 10% every time. Maybe I should invest and hold in that market. Here's some sample market statistics. Maybe take a picture of this, then you can go back and digest it. Just shows population growth, 12-month, 2-year, 5-year, and difference from peak. Peak shows if you're overinflated or if you still have room to grow, and all the others are going to show inertia in the market. Inertia draws speculators, and what draws hedge funds and things like that is being under your peak with inertia. All right, pitch to a seasoned investor. These are the key points. Don't overpitch the deal. Keep rapport with them even if they don't like the deal. If they say this deal sucks, you say, yeah, I didn't have a lot of time to look at it. Thanks for looking at it. We'll get you on the next one.
Agree, yeah.
You're cool with it.
Yep.
Don't show desire to get a relationship started. And ego strokes always good for the guys that are absolute rock stars. And normally you tie that into saying that you want to start a relationship because you see how much they do and it's great. And then they're getting first look. Tell them that they're getting the first, like you're showing this, you haven't sent it out yet, you haven't blasted it out yet. That's what's going to pique their interest because it might be an amazing deal and they got to know. Because if you tell them, it's already got blasted out, then it's like, all right, whatever. Nobody else wanted it, so it's not a deal. And then be easy breezy, super cool like that smiley face. Took me like 5 minutes to find that smiley face. We'll take questions quick at the end. We're already over time. All right, here's a quick sample if you want to take a picture of this. Hey, Frank, are you buying in the Arizona area right now, Phoenix area? Okay, cool. Well, I got one in today. I haven't blasted it out. I haven't spent a ton of time on it, but it looks like it could be a good one. It's a 1,200 square foot block build in Tempe. Do you want me to send over details? I haven't pushed it out yet. They're going to be like, oh yeah, shoot it over. Cool, easy, relax. This is what they do every day. Don't be excited, just relax and happy. Great, I'll send you over details in the text. Just let me know if you want it as soon as you can. No crazy rush, but I have to blast it out tomorrow morning. But yeah, man, I'd love to get a deal going with you and get a relationship started. I see that you're doing a lot, apparently 2 relationships. Where are we going? Where we're doing a few each month. Super relaxed. That's how you pitch a seasoned investor.
If they want it, they'll tell you there's nothing else needed, so.
Yep. All right. And then urgency. You don't get that type of deal. So this is when you're talking to a speculator. Different people. We just did seasoned investors, now we're on speculators. So with speculator urgency, you don't get that type of deal often. Right? This is now you're full blown. You got to let them know. They don't know. They're scared. They don't know if this is a good deal, and you need to tell them and help them understand that it really is a good deal in order for them to feel brave enough to step off the plank and buy the deal. So urgency, you don't get that type of deal often. Scarcity, talk about how hot the area is. Stuff is selling really fast in that neighborhood and will go quick. Deadline, I haven't sent this property out to anyone yet, so I wanted to give you a bit of heads up, but my partner wants me to send it out tonight. So if you have time to look at it before then, that's great. It'll give you a head start. And then quick exit possibility. This is huge with your speculator buyers because they're already nervous about jumping in. So you say something along the lines of, even though there's a great play to fully rehab the property, or whatever the buyer might be looking to do, because of blank, right? Fill in the blank. Because of that neighborhood and how hot it is right now, there's also a really great exit where you just relist it and just sell it. That's like your 30-day money-back guarantee right there, right? A valuable sales tactic, and this is how we put it in. There's a quick exit strategy. Even if you decided just to paint it, you could just relist it because it's such a hot area. Positives, and then talk about the positives, the benefits. If you like, it's a block build, cul-de-sac, rehab, or cosmetic rehab pool, garage, etc. All right, here's a sample of a pitch to a speculator. We do this all the time. So see how this one's ridiculously hype compared to the seasoned investor? Super hype. All right, cool. So hey, just got in this deal. I think you'll really like it. I know last time we talked, you were still looking, and you've been working on getting this one in for a while, and I think it's a good one. We haven't sent it to anyone yet, so I just need you to look at it quickly. It is a 1,995 square foot brick build in the Coronado district. Yes, we don't get these very often. On top of that, it's also on a cul-de-sac lot, and it has a pool and a garage, which you don't need for that neighborhood, but it's extra gravy on top. And it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, which means lots of space. Lots of people like that in that area. Why I really like this deal, though, is that the area is really hot and would allow you just to relist it. So if you just wanted to be out of this right now, you could literally buy it and relist it. Obviously, I don't think that's the best route. I think you should do the full rehab and get all of the juice out of it. But it's great just to have that exit. Oh, it sounds amazing, right? So that's the pitch. Sounds good. For speculator buyers. You want to meet with speculator buyers. You want to meet with speculator buyers. So meeting components, what are they looking for? What are their investment goals? Process of buying a property. So these are the things you want to go through them. You want to learn about them, and you also need to educate them because they don't know how to buy a property. They don't know how to buy one from you. So you need to tell them so that they're calmed down. Sorry, guys, I have a few more. I'll just throw them all up there. My bad. Just making you guys work. All right, there you go. All right, so you want to acclimate them to the buying process so they feel comfortable. So what are their investment goals? Process of buying a property, our title company or attorney that you use, how trustworthy they are, big name, whatnot. Acclimate them to the area, so teach them about the area. Lenders you can refer them to in their terms, so show them that you can wrap around them, and this is going to be an easy transaction because you do everything for them. Contracts we use, that is a big tool. How many times have we had, somebody's like, send me a contract, I want it.
Every time.
You send them a contract, and they're like, I don't understand this.
Yep.
This doesn't look familiar. I'm scared.
And once they're scared, it's just downhill from there.
Yeah, so you don't want them to be scared, so when you meet with them, go through the contracts. Then when they get it, it's what they're expecting. Easy. When are they thinking about purchasing? Okay, warning, generally not for seasoned investors, but great for speculators. Do not ask seasoned investors on one-on-one meetings when you're starting out. Because they won't take them because they're busy, right? They won't take them because they're busy, but also that's not the best way to work with seasoned investors. The best way to work with a seasoned investor is to do a deal with them, then they'll consider you, and then, sure, go to coffee. Process map. Take a picture of this. This is what you're going to show them. You find a deal. So basically, you're going to go out and find a deal. You can X them off as you do them. You're going to find a deal. You're going to go out and look at the deal. Then you're going to tell me that you want a contract. You're going to deposit earnest. I'll help you secure funding. I'll help you line up insurance. Title will get you the title commitment, showing that you inherit clear title, which is a lot different because you have some guys that see the auction, speculators that see the auction stuff, right, and then freak out because they think they're going to bid on a second or something. So you get clear title. Then they come in, you tell them, the only thing you really have to worry about is coming in to sign the docs and bringing in the rest of the closing funds. And then the title company will release the file to record. That's the process. They know what it looks like. It's not scary. They can do it now. All right, so attorney and title states. Yeah.
Go for it. You know the difference between the two.
It's not that.
It's pretty simple,
actually,
right?
Yeah. So
when you use attorneys for title work, you either use title companies or title officers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a quick little map. You can look this up online as well. But you just so you guys know how you're going to be closing these deals if you're brand new.
Through an attorney or through a title office.
Through a title company or through an attorney.
Yep.
Got it? Cool. She's like, let's go. Well, if it'll let me. Oh, I was pushing the wrong button. I was pushing the laser button. All right. Where can you find lenders? So you're going to help them, right? You're going to give them lenders. So through Google searches, LinkedIn search, wholesaler referrals, title company referrals, and you could even check tax records and see if there's any deeds of trust recorded on wholesale properties.
Yeah, you could basically search them the same way as you do, like we did the Facebook, right? So you could just search hard money lenders Phoenix, and of course they pop up. So.
Yep, real simple. Cool. Sorry, did everybody get that? No. Too bad. All right, so. All right, you have 10 seconds. 10 seconds, and we'll do a little dance up here. Lender for your buyer. Lender. You got a speculator buyer, they don't know what you're doing, you got to help them out. So you need to know the lenders to pair them with. This is what allows you to sell other wholesalers deals because you're selling not to other seasoned investors, but to somebody that'll pay more. All right. So this is a buyer co-wholesale that we did, Hunter and I did together on Ridge. Cool little property in Mesa. Yeah. When we walked to this property, what were our thoughts when we walked in?
It was a great deal from the start.
We were like, we love this property.
Yeah, it was easy. You just know.
Yeah, it was awesome. Mind you, this was a good little property. So the numbers on it, acquisition price was $121 to us. We got this from a wholesaler. So the wholesaler in front of us had it, I think, at like $110, $113, something like that. But had it for less. So he made a good little chunk on it as well. We just got it from him. We didn't work with the seller. I didn't know the seller, didn't know the seller's situation. He brought it to us. We pushed it out for sale. And how long did it take us to sell this?
Like 8 hours.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was fast.
Yeah, Hunter sold it. So I didn't have to do jack. I just got one wholesaler in, passed it over to Hunter. All right.
We
Disposition
make him do the
was
title work.
$129.
He just handles all the junk.
Yeah. Total property, $7,500. Not bad. Yeah, not bad for a day, right? Done in a day, or done on assignment, so we didn't have to pay double closing costs, and then sold in a day. So the paperwork that you can use an assignment contract, or you can do a B2C contract, or another contract and do a double close. So we just assigned it. When you do a double close, you have title fees you have to pay. When you do an assignment, you don't. No, let's run through. I love you to death, love you a ton, but let's just run through, yeah. That's brilliant. That's a brilliant idea. Give it up. That was amazing. All right. All right. Seller side, co-wholesale. So this is another example. This one was exciting. All right, I'm going to have Hunter tell you how this deal went down. Or how
you can break
how
down
you
the first
sold
part.
it.
I'll break down the second part.
Okay, I like it.
That's how it
I'll
works,
take the
dude.
first
That's
part.
what we do.
All right, so this was in Arizona City, which is way out yonder, right? There's not exactly a ton of buyers out there, which is why I was like, okay. We were the ones that were on the seller side. So the last time I did the buyer side, I brought the buyer. This time I brought the seller, right? And I was on the seller side. So this is one that we worked. This one was one that we were. Holy bananas. All right, so this is one I worked with the seller. We got them off of an online lead. So we worked with the seller all the way through, got the seller locked in, feeling ridiculously good about themselves. And then I passed it, I co-wholesaled it to Hunter. And how did the sale process go?
Yeah, so they picked it up at 50. They assigned it to me for 66. And that was all like, it was like 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I texted to 2 people and had it sold in like 20 minutes. Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
not
it
bad.
was-
Whatever, 9 G's in 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm 20. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So that's how that one worked. The buyer was actually found off of Yelp. He had a remodeling company that was based out of Casa Grande. I called him. He ended up being a buyer and then bought this one.
Dude,
So,
so off of Yelp,
off of Yelp.
we just shared that. He just
Yeah.
shared that chocolatey secret with you guys. So you can do this. So Hunter's the man. All right, cool. All right, we're coming to a close here. All right. I should have said next. I apologize. He sold it to a contractor, yes.
Correct, yep. And he bought it for himself.
That he got off Yelp.
Yep.
All right. And I've got a few extra things to add to this one. The one called payday. All right. So this is what we were talking about at the beginning. This is the top level of co-wholesaling when you feel ridiculously great about yourself. And this is how you do those very, very fast deals. Okay, where you do them very fast, you make money, it's awesome. And this is what the guys at the top of the pyramid do. Top of the wholesale pyramid. You've got the seller, you've got a co-wholesaler, so somebody that worked with the seller, spent money on the marketing. Then you've got you, then you've got another co-wholesaler that spent time getting the buyer and building that relationship and honing that in, and you're in the middle. So you do what? Make a couple phone calls. That's pretty great. So you get a call in. So for instance, if the seller and the selling co-wholesaler have it at 45, you sell it to and sells to you for 60. Then you mark it up, I marked 67. So the first co-wholesaler made 15, feels really good about himself, recouped some marketing expenses. You mark it up $7,000 to your next co-wholesaler, who's going to bring the buyer, make $7,000. And then that guy marks it up $8,000 and sells it to his end buyer. Pretty sweet. Numbers can change all around. Sometimes you luck out and you make the most, which is crazy. But sometimes it happens like that. That is the one-day payday. Can I say next? Woo! All right. It is ridiculous, and it's amazing, and it's wicked easy, and you guys better freaking get after it when we get back home on Monday. Because I want to hear stories. I want to hear stories that people sold stuff off Yelp, and Hunter's going to feel awesome. This is what you're going to do. You're going to do this. We can do it on break. I think we're ready already way ridiculously over. Sorry, Andrew. So Andrew's just kicking it back there. But all right, you got to choose a path. So this is the action steps. This is what you're going to take when we get home tomorrow, okay? And you're going to write these down, and you're legitimately going to do them because you guys are awesome, and you want this. You want this. You want to do this. You're ready to jump off that dock. So you've got.
Find buyers, which is the path that I chose.
That's the path what Hunter does. Or find sellers. And if you find sellers, like we were talking about, a lot of times the rips on seller deals are bigger.
Yep.
So write down 3 actions you're going to take this week to find buyers or sellers. If you are already co-wholesaling, write down 3 new actions to find more buyers or sellers. Can everybody commit to do that? Are you guys going to do that? Okay. Okay, it's ridiculous, right? The money is sitting there. It's so easy to get. I mean, there's a lot of work that's involved, but it's not science. It's not rocket science. It's pretty easy. It's just doing it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just doing it. So, all right. I promised we'd talk about contracts, so I'm going to give us the fastest wrap-up of contracts ever, and then we're going to call it a day. So I'm not even going to write it up. So the tools that you have, the different contracts, the tools that you have to write the paperwork for these types of deals, the general ones used are an assignment and a B2C contract. In addition to that, you have invoices and you have commission agreements. Everybody got those?
B2C
B2C.
contract, yeah.
So you've got assignments, B2C contracts, invoices, and commission agreements. B2C contracts. I'm going to tell you in a sec. Assignments, invoices, and commission agreements. Commission agreements are going to be strictly with realtors, and they'll tell you all about it, so don't worry about it. Invoices are just an extra little perk that some title companies allow you to do, but you also don't need to worry about those right now. Just know about them. And the ones you'll use primarily are B2C contracts, and that's when you have a seller, and if you don't get this, it's in the fast tracks, all that stuff. This is stuff that, and you can come up to me afterwards and be like, what is going on? And I will definitely explain it to you. You have an A to B contract, which is between the seller and the co-wholesaler. And then you have a B2C contract, or in the wholesaler, and a B2C contract is just a contract double closing it to the end buyer. Pretty simple. All right. Yes, real quick. Generally a flex option. Flex option. Yep. And it's just an option for you to purchase the property without denying them the right to sell it at any time. Yep. All right. Boom. Last slide here. You guys ready for this? You guys excited? Deep breaths. Anybody sweating out there? Anybody ridiculously pumped about how they're going to totally kill it when they get back on Monday? Are you guys pumped? Yeah. Yes. Are you guys going to kill it? Yeah. Yes. All right. Good. So this is our closing slide. I keep pushing the laser button. Jump off the dock. Make the calls. Get it going. So. Thanks.
All right.
Awesome. All right.
Let's give it up, guys.
Thanks,
Come
guys.
on.
Thanks, guys.